Oh my gosh. All right, guys.
Everyone can hear you.
Let us know if you can hear me. We've been asking for the last 4 minutes, but I forgot to start the webinar. So we are live. So who can hear us? Carolyn says yes. Okay. All right. Very good. So we are a little bit late because we were talking, and I've just been waiting for somebody to say they can hear us. And Henrik said, well, did you start the webinar yet? I'm like, no. All right. So y'all can see Henrik's screen? Yes?
Okie doke.
Yep. All right. Cool, man. So
Let's hit it.
let's hit it. Let's go. Those are what we're going to talk about today. And take some notes. And we'll send the recording back to everybody later. So it's all yours, bud.
Okay, thank you. And welcome to this little short training where we will look at setting up a calendar. We will look at the new little feature, which is the URL shortener. And I was so crazy to promise somebody in the group that I will show how to set up an Ifttt recipe, because he wanted to have posting directly to Facebook or to Twitter's. And I said we could do that through an Ifttt recipe. So we'll take a look at that today. So let me clear the screen here. So everybody can see my screen?
Yep.
Hopefully, good. So the calendar is modeled in the poster, which allows you to set up a Google Calendar, and the calendar can create events for a target URL, which you will put into the calendar. Here I have put up a mortgage broker in the calendar name. I have set in, it's a little bit scrambled, but just a second. But what I'm doing up here in location, I will put in the location, which will be the NAP of my GMB. The reason why I'm putting in everything is that you will get a link in your events to a map. So you're actually creating links to your GMB every time that you're creating the calendar. I might just swap it a little bit here. Just need to find a little piece of information on my drive here, so just a tickie.
So Terry, one of the things and everybody else that we are thinking about is I had a question on the calendars, which was, well, what if I don't want to post 48, every week, every day, and then every week and every month? So I thought that we could just limit the amount of titles that we put in there, and it wouldn't print or wouldn't produce 48 calendars. But then Henrik tested it, and he only put in two keywords in the title, and it still produced 48. So do you guys think that we should make it so that you can pick how many you want to post or where you want to post, so that you're not automatically just doing 48? That was the question. And Terry, what do you think about that? Okay, so
He's
allow
muted.
how many? Let's choose how many we want. More is better. Answer is no. So we're kind of 50-50.
So everybody want to more or less blast it away.
Yeah, about half of them. Allow us to choose. I want all the links I can. Why limit it? No, it's not a limit. It's just an option. You can,
So
say pick 48 or pick, 8 or 16 or something. I don't know, but I think I could get Chris to work on something if that was something that we thought was important to us. Because we have had a couple people say, well, I don't want to post 48. I think it's overkill. So that was the reason for the question. Correct, Karen. So I will pose that question to Chris to see what option we can build, both in here and in Ranking Factory. The same thing then.
okay, let's just clear out these. That's what from the test before. So I will set up everything now. So the first thing you should do is giving your calendar a name, and the name should actually be keyword rich, i.e. in this instance I put in mortgage broker, but it doesn't correspond to what I put in my URL down here. So I'll put in website creation maybe. So I have a calendar name. I will then put in my location, and what I can recommend you to do is that you put in the full NAP of your GMB, and you will put in a small calendar description, max 320 characters.
Is it okay to keyword stuff that?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Or keyword stuff. Do it with reason.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Chris put that counter up there, so it makes it easy.
The next thing I will have to look at when I'm cleared the description is to put in the title. Here I'm targeting my GMB's website, and then you can choose to have a single event title by taking this one, or you can have multiple titles. If you choose multiple titles, you will paste them in like I'm doing here.
Henrik, can you hit the maximize button on the top right-hand corner?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah. So what happens here that the system will create an event for each of these keywords that I've stuffed in here. Another solution would be to take those and go to a tool like this one, which we saw last time as well, the keyword translation factory, which you hopefully have signed up for. And again, I'll go into the spin tag spinner. I'll paste in the keywords up here in the top. You can actually load them from one of the other tools within the keyword translation. I hit the make spin tags down here, and you can see it will fast create the spin tags. which I will copy out and go back to my calendar. And I will choose multiple titles up here and use the spin text check here. And I will paste it in here. You can see the spin text has been inserted. So now I can go to the event content. And here I will put in a little text. So comes the first one part here. And we'll put in a little bit more. Like this. Again, you will put in the event location with the full NAP as was put in there previously, but I'll put in a new one here. And then you have a possibility to have an attachment to each event. And that's a G drive attachment. So I will go and find one which I have prepared here. So the first one comes here. And I take the share link from the document in the drive. I'll put in a title. It comes in here, goes up there, put it in there, and we can take one more attachment.
So what's the value of attachments? Why would we even want to bother doing that?
Because Google will read the attachments that we are attaching to the events. And if you're creating 48 events, you're actually creating 48 links back to this G drive. So we are pointing from a Google property to the drive, which is pointing back to presumably your money site, and you have keywords rich context to the link by having the title into the calendar as well.
So you could do a sheets, right?
Where you can attach a sheet, or you can attach whatever you want.
Right. So the value,
if you have a sheet with 10,000 links in it, then
yeah.
Bang.
Okay. Does everybody kind of get the value of putting the attachments in there when you're utilizing the properties that you've already built? So it is extremely important. And I do believe that most 99.99999% of everybody outside of us and Semantic Mastery don't do that. So pretty good tip.
And then you, of course, will stuff in as many links in addition that you want. So here I'm creating a link back to my GMB business website and to the website in itself. And of course, you can actually take one of the links to the post, etc. What we've done. I think I showed it in another one that I actually embedded a lot of post URLs into the events, and that gives you let's say if you put in 20 links, you have 48 events which you are creating in the moment. That gives 960 links back. And if you do that 30 days, 30 times a month, you have 28,800 links pointing out from your calendar. So that's extremely powerful.
Is there any limit on the amount of characters you can put in here?
I haven't tested in terms of the characters, but what you normally will do is just a reasonable keyword-rich text, and then put in whatever.
Well, I can tell you when we first started this, Henrik.
Yeah.
Gary and I put over 191,000 words in here, but
okay.
I haven't done it lately to see whether Google has restricted, the total depth of that canyon. But initially, when we did it, it was amazing because we just went to Wikipedia, copied Obama, put it in here, and it took it all. It just pulled it up. So we should do a test on that and just see.
But again, the more link you put in there, the more power you create to it. And again,
now, the other question that I have here that's popping up is that over on the right-hand side, it says use spin text, right?
Yeah.
So if you can go ahead.
If you hit this one and you put in a spun article in it, then we'll spin it for the 48 events on a daily basis.
And that's pretty cool because if you do that, you can really get a lot of different, links back and juice back based on what you're actually spinning within, the article itself.
Yeah. I just untick this one because I don't want it to trigger an error when I'm posting it. So what you can do before you create it, you can go up and save. So if you save here, it's saved to your local folder, document folder. And the next thing is just to hit go, and it will create the calendar. And you will see down here at the status line that is creating the calendar. So I'll hit go now. Yeah.
How many of you guys like the save and load feature to come back here and just load it up again, make a couple modifications, and Bob Junk will pop it out again like a rabbit. In less than 5 minutes, you can pop another calendar to another calendar to another calendar. Save and load. Saves. We could call it that, Scott. Save my ass. Makes my VAs work faster.
But look at the counter down at the status line. It's now over 40. It's soon 48.
On the left-hand side on the bottom, you see that's giving you the timeline.
So now it has created the calendar. And if I go here to publish links, you'll see all the links that's created for each event. 48 pieces. And here is the calendar in itself. So if I hit this one,
wow. Yes.
So if I go and just look at it, here you can see. And you can see it's creating this map.
Yep.
So if I hit this one, it should open the map. Does it?
So you want to use real locations?
You want to use your own location of the GMB, because then you're creating 48 maps embed in principle on a daily basis.
Exactly.
And you can see I have put in service areas here rather than using zip code or radius. So this is regions that I put into the GMB. Okay.
All right. So a couple questions here. How do you make the calendar public?
It is done automatically by the system. So the system creates a public calendar. The worst problem is to get the embed code if you want to embed it elsewhere, because then you have to go into the accounts that you have created under and go into the calendar and get that embed code.
Yeah, we don't pull that out from here, right?
No, not at the moment. We might be able to do it.
So Steve is asking no iframe though, and there's no iframe.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you want the embed, i.e. the iframe,
Gotta go get it.
Then you have to open it. I don't think I can use this one to iframe it, but we can try. Create the code, preview it. And bingo, it came up there. So we can do it.
I mean, it's just it's a 1-2 step manual process, but it does it right there for you.
It does, yeah.
So the calendar goes forever until I delete it? No, it goes forever based on, well, it might, but
it goes until you delete it.
It does actually. I forgot.
But another little feature that's in here is that you can send this to Sheets. So you have here 48 links. So if you click one the URLs up here, send to links. Bingo, it has created a sheet. You put in your main keyword again. And you put in file description. Again, you put in the NAP and keywords down there. And then you check this mark up here, say keywords for anchor text, and you can open the sheet again in a browser window if you like that. And then you just go up and upload. And just to repeat what I said last time, you have the possibility to translate the calendar. Oh, sorry, the sheet. Any well-speaking people here?
Nah, it doesn't matter.
And then you just hit one translation multiplier, and then it will translate the sheet into. So if I upload this one, it says creating the file to upload and then finished, and then I can run the multiplication or translation multiplication. That's what I was trying to say. And now it should be running that as well.
Bingo! I love this every time I see it. It just excites me. Sorry.
So it's really cool. So you get the the sheet translate into Italian, to Spanish, to Welsh, and whatever you choose. And just have to remember that when you're running the translation with a lot of text in it, then it costs a little bit on your API.
So
You
here's
you
a
also
question.
have a possibility of translating the calendar. So the text here could be translated from English into Spanish. So you just hit go here and it will translate the text here.
Hit go.
Yep. Voila.
Bingo. How cool is that, guys? I mean, it's pretty exciting stuff when you think about the possibilities of setting this up in English, and going back and do it in other languages.
You can just continue from Spanish to, let's say, Danish, and hit go again, and then plum. Of course, you have to create the calendar in the various languages, but
so I've got a question here, Henrik.
yeah.
If you go and take the URL from the sheets that you created, the Google Drive URL,
Yeah.
and you come back and put that in the sheets or the URL section over here on the left and create another sheet, you would kind of be creating an endless loop, wouldn't you? Because every time it goes through and it's going to go to the sheet, then the sheet's going to come back and point to here. You go back to the sheet and point to here.
No.
No.
Because you would have to create a calendar, and the calendar is creating these URLs. You would have to put them into the event to do it. So you would have to take these, copy those, and put them in here.
Yeah.
And then create the calendar.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's a viral loop.
But the benefits of having, let's say, the loop is actually from the iframe in itself, because Google will continuously go when it sees an iframe, it will go and read that site. So if that is pointing to, let's say, Wikipedia, for just take an example, then we'll go there and then we'll read whatever it's pointing at. So if you have, I think Marco stated it perfectly in his webinar, that if you iframe anything, which again, let's take an example. I'll have a calendar here. I iframe it into a G site I have created. Then when Google sees the G site, it will go see, here's a calendar, and go to the calendar and look at that. And if you then have the ability to iframe anything into the calendar here, which you can't, then it will look again to that iframe and go to the next iframe. I think that's very well explained in Marco's webinars about the loops. And if you haven't done it already, go and donate and get the replays. Look at them, sign up, donate again, sign up for the webinar on Monday, because he's throwing gold in the street to you guys.
Okay. So basically, there's just ways for us to achieve that. So the second question: when you do the Spanish or any of the translations, they are creating new calendars, or they're overriding the old calendar.
No, they're I just translate them here. But what I'll do when I'm translate the Spanish into the Danish, then I'll go create. And then if I translate this to Swedish, I will go up and create again. So you're creating a calendar each time you have translated.
There you go.
Yeah. It's not like in the sheets where you have the multiply effect of it, where you just pick the languages and then each sheet created in Spanish, or when the sheet is created in Spanish, then we'll start creating one in Welsh, which will link to the Spanish. And you have, when that finished, you create one in Italian, which will link to the Welsh one. So you're actually stacking those sheets.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that answers the question. Carolyn's asking, I'd love if we could have an RSS widget for a calendar. Do you think there's a way to program an RSS feed based on the calendar ID?
Yeah, that's something we can look into. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Cool. Is there a double punch in the sheets if we put the same keyword in for the primary and secondary? I don't see why you'd want to do that. There's plenty of punch for the primary and plenty of punch for the secondary, but you could use the same for both.
Well, each event, you have the location, you have where you put in your GMB, and then you have this area where you can stuff in keywords, which is actually helping on an all basis. And then you have the spin text where you will stuff in your keywords, and then you have the target URL and the event title. That's the keywords. So if you're saying that or is it speaking about the sheets?
Sheets. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let me go back to sheet setup. So here you will create a set of links with this main keyword, and you will create a set of links with the secondary keywords as you show in the preview. So here, there's a set of links here, a set of links here, and there's a vacant link that you get in there.
Well, he's just asking if there's any advantage to having the same keyword in both positions, and I personally don't think so. I would want to have more keywords than two if I could, but I can't. So two's better than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adrian, quit bitching.
So more questions on the calendar before we move to the next level?
Nope, I don't see any more. Should we always target a buffer? Wait a minute, Scott. Scott's question is this: should we always target a buffer in the calendar? We don't really create buffers in the GMB.
No, but you could, in the calendar, you could target a buffer document if you like, because then you're pumping up links to that buffer document, which have a bunch of links to your money site. Here, I think the most important part of it is actually that little piece up here, because you're creating something which you could correspond to a map embed. So I think that's the most important part of it. Here you could actually hit your money site if you like, because it's a D property, you're in control of it. And if you do it on behalf of a client, I will hit the buffer document instead of, because you can always take the calendar down. Does that make sense, Scott?
Yep.
Okay.
Move on. Gary's asking, where's the public-private toggle on the calendar or drive in Tutu? It's already created the public for you. Just go into your calendars and go into your share, and you'll get your embed codes that way. I guess that's what you're looking for, Gary, is the embed codes. All right, cool. Move on.
Okay. You saw that there was a new little feature. That's actually two new little features coming into there's the GMB Insights, which is not finalized yet, and this one, which is a URL shortener. So in this one, you could shorten any URL and you will put in a keyword. So this one will be what I want to do, and then I will insert a URL into this one. I can just steal one from my published links over here. So if I take this one, but you can put any URLs into this one.
Yeah, you can use this for anything, not just this.
Yeah. So here I just put in the URL, and I said, okay, I want just one shortened link. So I hit run, and you can see it create one down here immediately. But I could actually create variances of it. So if I create 3, I go in and run, and it will create 3 of them. And that's of the same link up here. But let's go and do a little experiment. So I take in the calendar a few of these links here. Go back to the URL shortener. I'll clear this. I put in the links here, and I'll go down and run this one, and you'll see it will create those links. So we create a link. This link will correspond to this one, and the next one to the next one. And if I go up and say okay, let me do 3 of them, see what's happened then. So it's creating actually 3 links immediately of this one, next one will create 3 of this, 3 of this, and 3 of this. And these you can send to the indexer if you like. You can send them to sheets as we saw before. So what it does actually in the background, it will create a context to the links here. So the context for this link will be business website mastery. If you like, you can translate the keyword into a foreign language. So if I hit go here, it should translate it into Spanish. Or maybe not. Okay, let me clear this. I'll remove a few of these. And I'll go down to say I want 2 links of each, and I'll hit this little fellow, go double stacking. Be careful here because it goes up to 200. I said I want 2 of each, so I'll just remove this and hit run. It's still working, so we'll just take a little while.
Henrik, while it's working, explain double stacking.
Double stacking is it make the double the amount of each link. So you could actually, if you create 200s, it will take 200 set of these two links. So it will continue, all the way down. It's creating a double stack 400 links in this instance. If you have put in 200, right?
Okay, so that's great, but what's the purpose of the double stack?
The purpose of the double stack is that you will have a contextual link which will link to each other in the stacking of it.
Does that make sense, Gary? Well, in other words, you're linking to one another. So you're creating a link to a link. So you're stacking your links on top of each other. It's the same concept. Ranking factor is cloud stacking or doc stacking. Okay, you're giving more power because one link is linked to another one. So the juice of that link goes to that one, and the second link goes to your outbound. Cross linking, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So just to really briefly mention something about the shorty, Madge, we know that it's not a 301, it's a script issue. But when we get fixed the script issue, it'll have a PAD
301
in the 60s and 70s. So that's why we're doing this, because I found this URL utilizing authority checker in 5 minutes. And, we're having issues with the Firebase. So we just went out and bought our own shorty. So this is going to be our shorty. It will be a 301 shortly. Okay. So it's just a script error on our side. It's our bad.
Okay, I'll end this task. You get the point of it, so we're not wasting time to finalize. So let's end it and close it.
Thank you.
And we did mention we could save the calendars. That's correct. Okay. So last time, in the groups, somebody was asking if we could have the GMB post going out to Facebook or to Twitter. And I mentioned that it is actually possible because if we have our post going to a blog, then this blogger could be used as a trigger to generate an Ifttt recipe. So what I've done here, I've logged into the Ifttt. And for those of you who are not familiar with Ifttt, it's a service where you can connect different kind of services, and then you say, if this is happening, then that should be executed. So let me go to my applets. See, I have already a few in here which is related to a YouTube. So when I'm posting in something to YouTube, it will post to Instapaper, or it will post a YouTube video to Google Drive or OneNote or whatever. I'll hit the new applet over here. And this is the page that you saw before. And then I say, if this is happening, and then I'll have to choose the service and say, okay, if Blogger, if there's a new post on Blogger, and you will have to connect your blogger to the Ifttt network, which I already have done. But then say, if there's new post to blogger, and that's what we're doing by posting the GMB to our blogger, then something should happen. And then I just have to find out what should happen. And one of the questions was either Twitter or to Facebook. So let's take Facebook. Facebook allows you to post to Facebook pages or to Messenger. So you need to have set up a Facebook page to enable to post to it. So I'll do that. So I will create a post link. So a link to the blogger post. And here you can go in and say, what do you want? They call it ingredients. I want the link URL to the post URL. And then you can add ingredients to the message that you want to put into Facebook. So if you post the post content, then you're actually repeating the GMB post into Facebook, and you simply just create action, and bingo. You have to make sure that you can turn off notification, but put them on, because then you'll get a notification if the service doesn't run, if something is happening, either that the blogger is taken down or whatever. And then you hit finished, and you're done. So now when I post to my blogger and there's a post there, it will trigger a post to Facebook. And then you could do the same, go to my applets, choose blogger again. Sorry, create a new applet. It's me. If this is happening, choose your blogger account. When any new post, and if you had any labels in your post, you could also execute a trigger, which means that if you only want certain posts to be triggered, you can actually filter that. If that, and then Twitter, post a tweet, the post title, the post URL, and maybe put in a hashtag. Create the action. And finished the activity. So here I created two applets. I called it previously recipes, which will fire when I post to my blogger. So I'll post to the Facebook page, and I will post a post title and a link in Twitter with a hashtag called business websites. So that's basically it. It's not that difficult to set up when you first get the hang of it. Any questions?
Well, let me ask a question. How many of you guys know that we've already set up for you a complete Ifttt syndication? Give me a 1 or a 2. Yes, you know it. 2, you don't. Okay. About half and half. Okay, so why don't you go to Ifttt Factory? So this was created mostly by Dr. Leon. He spent months and months and months putting this together for us. And within the same effort that you have with the blogger, posting to the Ifttt, we set up a complete syndication of 22 or 23 properties, and some of the properties within them have their own set of properties that they send out to. So you're getting multiple social profiles pushing this out for you. So you really don't have to do anything like Henrik just shared with you, but to learn that and take the time to do that is pretty intense. And you could do it, it just takes a very long time. So what we did is we did all the hard work and all the hard lifting for you and set up this syndication whereby you can buy a branded ring, which is 5 rings already done for you. And if you think about how many hours it would take you to do that, but a branded ring is branding your GMB, branding your company, branding your whatever it is you want to brand. And then we immediately build 4 more rings underneath that, which are persona rings, which are they're looking like humans that are supporting your brand ring. Okay, so they're posting up to your brand ring. And so a single ring to do that, would be a single Ifttt ring would be $16. And that's ridiculously cheap compared to what everybody else charges. A 5 ring, which is what I just talked about, which is a brand and 4 personas, is $70. And a 3 ring is a brand and 2 personas is $46. Okay. So when you think about the possibilities of how much power you're going to get if you want to use an Ifttt ring that's already done and set for you, the only thing you have to do once you build this and buy it is fill out a few fields of data, and then within 7 days this is built for you. And the really cool thing about it is that the GMB post, which Henrik showed you how to connect to the blogger, and the blogger is the trigger for the Ifttt that we built. So you really don't even have to get into any of that either. It's an automatic process from your blogger account, okay? And it's really quite simple. Now, what we've done, and which confuses people, go ahead and pick the best option. Scroll down a little bit, Henrik. I just want to show people what we're doing, and you watch that video and it will explain it. So the reason that pricing that you see there is different when Henrik brings it back is, a single ring is $16. But if you choose the bundle, okay, the 5 ring bundle, so go ahead and choose the bundle for your Ifttt ring. Click on the choose your bundle right there. So what that's basically saying is that you can choose a number of bundles. So a single ring, which we just described, was $70. But if you want to buy 3 bundles for 3 clients, or stack your bundles for a single client, that's $199. 5 bundles, if you want to buy 5 of the 5 ring bundles that were $70, which would be $350, is $315. If you want to buy 10 bundles so you can use them anytime you want, is $613. And we've got a lot of people buy the 10 bundles because they don't know that they want them, but they want that discount. So this kind of trips everybody up, but I wanted to share that with you. But what Henrik showed you, exactly what you could do to go create your own, this takes all the pain out of it. And if you just buy a single 5 ring bundle for $70, it's one of the better investments that you can make in terms of social posting, to the networks that we post to. We don't post to Twitter. The basic reason that we don't post to Twitter is because Twitter is like disavowing everything. So we just don't do it at this juncture. So did that make sense, Henrik?
Yeah, it does. But I think is there's few questions, Patrick.
It is a one-time fee. That's all. Yes, I have one, but it's not in my GMB mail account, so I guess I'll have to buy another one, or can I connect them together? The RFR IFTT includes the profiles filled out, worth the price from Scott. Scott, just give us a call. We'll see if we can make some changes for you with the developer on it. On tier 2, you mix in other sources of content to avoid footprints. Okay, that's going back to the tier 2 stacking, I guess, Jordan, right? So I guess the answer to that is we don't really worry about footprint issues because it's Google.
And what Jordan is saying is that normally you burn off your rings if you don't have a mix of content on the second tier, because if you mix
on tier 2, I thought he was talking about stacking.
On tier 2s, you'll mix the content. So if you have something it's triggered from the first ring down to the second tier, and on the second tier you will have, for instance, on your WordPress site or on your Tumblr site, you'll have another trigger where you feed in RSS content in order to mix it.
Yeah.
So you don't get you're just pumping out your primary content to all the rings.
Right. I thought he was.
But you mix it with other things.
Yeah. No, that's fine. You can once you build these, you can go any one of them and change and modify whatever you want. The point is that they're all built, and you just push it out. But that's a good idea, Jordan. Thanks. Very cool. So anyway, I wanted to show this to you simply because I'm sure that a lot of people don't even know that this exists, but we did build it, and it is, for your purpose, and this is something that we're going to launch. But right now it's just for us. So very cool. All right. What other questions do we have? Well, we got Henrik here because once I let him go, he's gone.
One thing I just want to comment on, because somebody says that they didn't have a ring connected to their GMB. Whenever you have a GMB, you should have a ring which is actually doing the branding for the GMB. So
that's your persona. I mean, that's your branded ring. Yes.
Yeah. Always.
Does everybody understand what Henrik just said? Give me a 2 if you don't. Okay. So when we create the rings, we want to create the first ring as the brand. The brand is your GMB, with all your GMB information in it. The brand is, you want to send all this juice to a YouTube video. That's your brand. The brand is your website. So, that's the brand. That's the very first ring that we build. And you provide that information to us in the form that we've given you. The other 4, they're just like, that's the crowd out there, and that crowd is supporting your brand. So it's a little bit like crowdsourcing information to your brand and getting likes and shares and all that to your brand. So that's why it's one bundle is called a brand. There's another bundle called persona, where people just want to buy personas and have that persona link up to a brand where they put it in there. And another one we have is YouTube. So you're buying IFTT rings for the sole purpose of sending all of the juice to a YouTube video, likes and so forth, right?
But Patrick, what I want to emphasize is that whenever you have a GMB, you should have a branded network which is your NAP actually you're promoting out to that network.
Exactly.
So that's exact. And then from that network, you could push it down to the second tier. But the first, also, in order to support your GMB, you should have a branded network, which is your NAP that you're putting out there.
Correct. Okay, cool. So let's go back into the calendars and sheets and last questions that anybody might have for that. Do we have any final questions for what we've gone over today? No? Okay. Well, in that case, we will thank you all for coming, and we'll get the replay up for everybody. I just love sheets. I just, that's one of my favorite little tools that we've got in here is building sheets. It's so powerful, especially with the languages and let me give everybody a little tip here on sheets. Okay, one of the things that you could do with sheets is you can go to pull this up real quick, Henrik.
What should I pull up?
Back, did I miss anything? Doss, you didn't miss anything that you don't know. How about that? Pull up I want to go to a website. So give me a link. Give me an open link to put in an address. Okay. So I want everybody to look at this and go to, and I've said this before, but there's some new people here. www.zip. And this is really only for those in the United States. So anybody that's not in the United States, this won't help you. But if you have clients in the United States, it will. Zip codes to go.com. Okay?
Yeah.
And I use this all the time. It's really, really powerful because you have your sheets, but now you can add to your sheets. Okay? So are we paying attention to what Marco's hinted at regarding folders within related folders, or is this coming down the road? Scott, that just means that you've watched what Marco has told us to do. And I think you know by now that seeds planted grow trees with us. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit because I want to just show you some power here. Over on the right-hand side, you see something called, I'm going to go county zip codes. Because if I'm doing a local business, I'm really kind of being a local business to my county, right? So pick a state, pick Maryland, because I live in Maryland, and make it easy. And then go over, pick a county, and then pick Harford County. Okay? Now, what I want you to notice here is what we're doing is we're picking up a zip code associated with a city, associated with a state, but what is that on the right-hand side there, Henrik?
Maps.
So that map is a link to what? Click on one of them.
To the zip code center.
Yep. So now what I want you to think outside the box a little bit. Adrian, there is not that I know of, but if you find one, let me know. Okay, so we know that map link is linking to that city, the center of that city, and that is also linking, or not linking, but associated with the zip code. Okay, it's associated with the city and the state. So now what you can do is if you can go back to the main page there, go back. Oh, you may have to put it in again. Sorry, Henry. You gotta go pick the state again. It freezes. Go back to the state. Pick Maryland. Okay. Now pick a county. Okay.
You moved to Kentucky.
So pick my county, Hartford. So Henrik has never done this, but you can copy that. Just highlight it and copy from zip code, city, state, and maps. Highlight it. Now copy that.
Mm-hmm.
Now go paste it to a sheet. So the cool thing about what we're doing here, guys, is that within the sheet and with the keyword and within the local territory, like you're doing your GMB sheets, okay, now within this sheet, you can really associate that GMB with the cities around your local business. And that should populate. I don't know what it did. Why did it do that? Something went wrong. But you should just be able to right click and paste, and it will fill out your sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Paste special. Hit paste special, and then hit values only. Okay, there you go.
But it didn't take the link.
When you copy and paste it and put it in there the way that it's supposed to be, it brings all of the links with it. So
yeah,
it's just a matter of when I do it, I just hit copy, cut, and paste, and it goes right in there. But you guys play with it a little bit, and you'll see how powerful this is. And then when you add this into your sheets that you're creating, okay? Oh, he chose a cell, not the sheet. I got you. But use this and play with this. This is a very, very, very powerful little tool if you're in the United States. And, I love it. I just absolutely love using it all the time. And it helps me with getting more locality and what I call creeping. So we're able to creep better with our GMBs because now we're associating ourselves with these other cities, these other zip codes that are near to us. You may not want to do all of them because they're like 30 miles away or 50 miles away. And that's not going to help you much. Okay. But can you guys get in that, the flavor of what we're trying to do? Because now we have a map embed code, right, into our URL to the map, not an embed, to our sheets process. Okay. So does that make sense? And then we can edit with the keyword tool, correct? Right? So keep this in mind. And although it didn't work there for whatever reason, when I copy, cut, and paste, it highlights it right away. Maybe because I've done it before and set up the properties correctly. Okay? So you'll figure it out. Yeah. It's not that hard. Okay, guys? So that's my little stay, as Scott says, stay to the end tidbit. All right, we're going to let you all run. Appreciate it. If you have any other questions, what are we going to do next time?
Next time, what's left? We will take a little bit further in. I'll go into the insights, and then we might talk about a few things you can do in order to boost your GMB.
Okay, so everybody's here. Go in and post in the GMB room, whether you thought this was valuable training today, and then put in their questions and or requests of things that you would want us to maybe be talking about or sharing with you next week. Okay. I think next week, I have to check and see what the calendar says for next week, but you're already hooked into it anyway, no matter what it is. So, and remember, I'm going to give you another plug here. If you have not donated to the charity for Marco, I strongly suggest that you do, because the last 2 webinars that he did were killers. The scripts that he gave us were off the charts. And what he's about to share with us on Monday is part of his elite $4,000 membership training. So it's extremely valuable for us to be there and for you to be there. And for 40 or 50 bucks, it's probably the single best 40 or 50 bucks that you can spend for valuable information on your business. And I'd like to happily say so far, Henrik, that we have sponsored now over 30 children through this effort to get them to school, after school program to help them in their reading education, but more importantly, keep them off the streets where they live, where the gangs prowl on kids and prey on them. Prowl for and prey on them, not PRAPREA, right? So we're just super excited that we've taken 30 kids off the street for this year, paid for the whole year, and we totally appreciate and bless every single one of you guys that have helped us, right? So thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, goodbye.
See ya.